After leaving WCW, you did some indie 6-man tags in Europe and Japan with Yokozuna as Coquina Maximus. How is that? Speak about Yokozuna.
Man, let me tell you.
One second, was the Bonsai drop a tribute to him?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Everything that, when you seen the character of Rikishi, was most definitely a spinoff and an honor for me to do with Yoko. But at the same time, it was like, you know, anytime you're in the ring, be it a best friend, be it a family member, there's always these moments that fans never know about. And these are the ribs that goes on in that corner. Yeah. You know, it's always special to be able to be in the ring with somebody that you was raised up with. Somebody that you know what he can do. You know, times when I'm in the ring, maybe I feel bad, I'm not feeling too good, up to par. These are the times when, you know, like Yoko would get in my ear, you know, get up, suck it up, let's do this, let's steal the show, blah, blah, blah. So it was most definitely one of the special moments in my wrestling career, to be able to team with guys such as Samu, the Head Shriekers, when we won the belts, with my Uncle Alpha in the corner as our manager. So most very wonderful times in my wrestling career, teaming up with Big Yo.
All right, I asked a lot about Yoko. I heard Conan mention in a video, he was talking about him, and he said Yoko was gangster. Those were his exact words. And I seen Yoko one time, and he had a Figueroa, big Figueroa, a gold Figueroa, and it was something almost as thick as this. So I know, you know, he was street. He wasn't a regular, you know.
Yeah. Let me take you on back here with Yoko, okay? I'm gonna walk you through the life of Yoko.
His exact words were, he was gangster, that he took him somewhere, and he had a lot of respect wherever he took him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know, us growing up, Yoko grew up in the city of Carson in Long Beach, California. So most definitely, you know, we come from the streets, bunch of island kids. I was raised up in the hood of San Francisco, and Sunnyvale was called the Swamp. But Yoko, to elaborate on what Conan said about Yoke Dog, exactly what he was gangster to the core. I mean, when we ride in a car, we wasn't listening to opera and that. We was listening to Snoop. We was listening to one of his favorite CDs was America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube. Yeah. So he was always like writing lyrics and stuff, you know. Besides, you know, us grubbing out on Chinese food in the car, you know, he was gangster to the core. Every CD, back in the day, we didn't have MP3s, man. Yeah, we had CDs, so you would pop this big CD bag, this big folder, and he would always have the latest rap coming out, you know. So he was gangster to the core. And then, not only he was gangster, but Yoko was a good pop locker.
What you mean?
When I'm saying pop locker,
he could dance.
This is where I got some of my moves were. Yeah. We used to be in the garage. Now check this out. Visualize this. Yeah. Here we have our grandfather who's a preacher. Yeah. He's out there preaching the word, right? And then here you have some gangster kids that's in the garage while my grandfather's doing prayers up there. We in there bumping Ice Cube. We trying to learn the latest new move. Follow me, dog. Follow me. Here we go. So he was straight. He was gangster.
You know, when he first came to WWE, I had no idea that he was in the Samoan. I found out after he died. I thought he was Japanese. Oh, I never knew that.
That's how good he played that part, man.
I never knew that. I found out after he passed that y'all were all related. I was surprised. I never knew that.
And that's another thing that, you know, with the Samoan dynasty. In this business, everybody has to have their character. You know, character, I believe nowadays and today and forever. That's what brought this game that's what brought wrestling to the game, and I think that's where it should stay, is characters. We're people that go out there and entertain and make believe heroes in your village. But with our family, there was so many guys that were in the business that were coming through, training through with Uncle Alpha and Sika. You couldn't have like 20 Samoans coming in from the island of Samoa. So we had to kind of split it up. Okay, Tonga Kid, we know you Samoan, but now you're gonna go Tonga. You know, Fiji, Snuka went Fiji, Yoko went Japanese, so we were kind of trying to cover that whole South Pacific area. You know what I'm saying? So this way we can rep the whole South Pacific rather than just repping Samoa. We Samoan in blood, but we poly blood all over the South Pacific. You feel me?
Yeah. How's Tonga Kid? What's he up to? I haven't heard from him in years. I haven't heard nothing about that dude.
Tonga Kid's doing fine, man. My brother's, you know.
He's older than you?
No, my brother's 1 year younger than me.
Tonga?
Yeah.
Really?
He actually broke into the business before me.
you, yeah. I remember he feuded with Piper.
Yeah. Tonga Kid, I think as of today, he still holds the record as the youngest pro wrestler
18, right?
at 18 years old to sell out Madison Square Garden. You know, to sell out Madison. Let me repeat that. The 18-year-old, the youngest guy to sell out Madison Square Garden with Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, and Bobby Orr. So old TK, we call him TK all day in our family.
So he's not wrestling no more?
No, TK does a little, he works a lot with community in Sacramento. He does a lot of church appearances. He has 2 twin babies at home now. You know, I think they're 3 years old. So it's kind of like, you know, he's spending a lot of time at home and raising the kids and, you know, doing testimonials here and saving people, you know, as far as in the church. So he's my angel when I'm out here, man.
Tonga Kid?
Tonga Kid, he calls me all the time. He's one of those cats, if you know Tonga, like Conan will tell you too, TK is a different TK, you know. He's one of those cats, when he come through the locker room could be down, like everybody, morale ain't going on. He could be, as soon as you, TK walk through the door, it's like, forget it, everybody's happy, laughing, and, you know.
No, that's cool.
Good vibe, good guy to have in the locker room.
How many years did you have on Umaga?
My brother Umaga he was the baby of the family. He was 38 when he passed away, and 46 now.
8.
So, yeah, 8 years.
All right. Did you ever have any thoughts of something tragic like that would happen to him?
No, most definitely not. You know, I haven't really tapped on talking about my brother on camera for the simple fact that, you know, not too many people want to kind of remember. I want to remember him the way he was. Being a great, I think the world has lost a great wrestler. The family has lost a great brother and a wonderful father to his kids and so forth. But most definitely, don't nobody and anybody that has any loved ones, siblings or son or so forth can ever call death. You know, I know that when the last time I seen my brothers, we were in Australia for the Hulkamania tour.
Yeah, I read that.
And our company, Knox Pro Entertainment, spearheaded that company. I mean, that tour. And it was the greatest times of the 2 weeks that I've ever had with my brother. Being able to laugh and, you know, just kind of going through and talking about his kids. His kids, man, that was his everything. You know, he wanted to.
How many he has?
He has 4. He got 4 boys. 2 of his boys just got drafted into college, and he'd always say to me, you know, I can't wait till my kids go into NFL pro so I can turn around and I just want to retire and I want to spend time and go on the road and cheer for them now, because they've always done it for their father, being on the road. And so, you know, it's been hard for our family. It's been hard for you know, his kids and so forth. But you know, it is what it is. I can only remember the good times, and I would like to remember. I'm sure, and I hope the world would remember my brother as somebody. Every time he came through those curtains, that he brought it his all to be able to perform, to be the best he could at that character. Brought everything he had, being tired or sick or whatever the deal it was. He was a good professional wrestler and a good father and a good brother and son.
Yeah, I want to thank you for sharing that with me. You know, I haven't really heard nothing about him since that happened. Nobody ever really talked about him, so I really liked him when he was wrestling. I'm gonna be honest with you. When that happened, I have a whole bunch of action figures, and I took his action figure, and he slept right next to me on the table.
Thank you, man.
right? That's my word.
Appreciate it. One love.
A couple of days later, I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna put him back with his friends. I took him and put him back.
I appreciate it.
I like him a lot, man. He remind me of, you know, old school. They don't have beasts no more, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have animals no more, you know?
You know, again, like what you just said, you know, I think the old school is the best school, but the time with the new era rolling now, you can still roll with the new era, but the old school psychology, the old school what brought the game with characters, finding guys that are able to fulfill that character. If you're a pimp, well, you're going to be the best pimp that walked through that door, you know, and that's from old school training. That's from old school knowledge that I thank God I was around guys like Jacques Dog, guys like Bruno Sammartino. Now I'm going back now. This is a young kid pulling bags into the locker room. Have Afonseca, Rocky the Soul Man Johnson. You know, the list goes on back in the day. You know, Ivan Putski. You know, these are all cats that were in my ear in the locker room. In Yoko's ear, in Samu's ear, Tonga Kid. And we always just was taught just to sit there and listen. Shut your mouth, open your eyes, and listen. When OG spit that knowledge to you, that psychology knowledge in the lockery, they know what the hell you're talking about. You know, and I thank God we were given that opportunity.
Yeah, again, I want to thank you for talking about Umaga, because you looked real emotional when you did that. So I appreciate you doing that for me.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the business today?
My thoughts on the business today, I haven't been around it too much. I don't honestly watch it too much. I think, you know, I only turn it on when I see a few OG friends of mine and my son. I feel like there's no characters in our business today. You know, I think that today now is everybody walks out with your regular tights, your regular kick pads. There's no characters to separate each individual. There's no characters that catches my attention as a fan now to watch this too. I don't get hooked by my mouth when it comes on TV. Where back in the day you have Undertaker, you got Kamala, you got One Man Gang, you got the Boss Man, you got Pimp Father, you got Yokozuna. So everybody had their own identity. I think now today, it's too much, it's good to have cookie cutter, you know, bodies and wrestlers out there. But at the same time, you can have so many cookie cutters out there, and those same cookie cutters will walk on this street here, you won't recognize not one of those guys out there. Why? Because not one of them has identity, with the exception of those that can work good, such as Randy Orton, Sheamus, and so forth. So I think if I was in charge, I would bring together, throw more characters on certain people, give other certain people opportunities for them to get out there and showcase, you know, what they can do. And so, because the bottom line is that when fans are watching, I know what I'm going to watch, and that's to watch characters that come on TV. I don't want to watch guys that everybody has the same, you know, be it the same tights, the same kick pads,
It's true. Back in the day,
I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking on, because I appreciate and I respect every single of those young kids that get in the ring. You know, it just so happened they come through their era right now, where it is what it is. It's like everybody is kind of like, you know, set in their ways as far as television. So shame on creative service. Whoever's writing that bullshit, get rid of it. Throw some characters on these kids. Let them go out there and do what they love, and give us, the fans, what we pay to see. Give us professional wrestling entertainment at its best.
That's right. All right, we're going to come back with part 2 in a few minutes. Thank you.